Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been a while, but the Wheel of Time is back. A few months after it left off, the Prime Video fantasy series based on the extensive book series by Robert Jordan has returned for Season 2, returning the main characters and new situations. Even if not much has changed since then, the threats are becoming more serious. It is stated in the episode synopsis, A Taste of Solitude, that the characters find themselves alone, which is obvious right away. As the world is driven into disarray from every angle, they are all scattered and alone, each facing their own struggle. In a scene that was made public a few days prior, a little child sees Trolloc approaching and runs inside to hide, interrupting a gathering of the Dark Friends under the leadership of the Dark One's right hand. A black Aes Sedai ring, characteristic Cinchen clothing, patent fame, and many other people are visible to the girl as she hides under the table in search of her mother. The individuals gathered around the table talk about the Dragon Reborn, establishing Rand's new persona and their intention to hire him. The meeting's facilitator claims that Rand freed him and is currently hiding. But when the girl interrupts the conference, the Dark One's lieutenant instructs her on what defines a monster, explaining that one of the reasons he is given that label, among others, is because it arouses terror. He takes the young woman to the Trollocs waiting outside and invites her to touch one while posing philosophical questions to her about good and wrong. The youngster laughs after facing her fear. Moiraine transports buckets of water for a bath out of the blue, heating it with fire and her own strength rather than the one power. Her life has drastically changed after losing her skills at the end of Season 1, but her steadfast companion Waterland has stuck by her side. To the amazement of the Aes Sedai Varen and Adelias, with whom they are staying, he notices a rider approaching to visit Moiraine as he sharpens his sword. Pale Daman, the visitor from Ilion, grumbles about traveling so far, but Moiraine is not amused. Prior to her enigmatic conversation with Daman, she instructs Lan to leave the room. Daman displays a broken heartstone to Moiraine, despite the fact that Cuendler is supposed to be invincible. She tries to keep quiet, but she can't help being curious. In addition, Daman says he has a poem and wants to sell it to her. He is irritated by Moiraine's denial that he is being followed, as she appears to think they are fades based on Daman's description and orders him to flee. Although Moiraine provides Daman extra cash for any necessary supplies so he may go quickly, she purchases the poem but not the heartstone. Lan, meantime, confides in Tomas, a fellow warder, that he is struggling since he can't feel his relationship with Moiraine any longer and thinks she wants him to leave, but he still worries about her. After Daman has left, he confronts her, upset that she is shoving him away, but Moiraine doesn't respond to him. The other Aes Sedai try to persuade Lan to give Moiraine some space because she is having trouble adjusting to losing her strength. They tell him that Moiraine is fighting every day that she lives, despite the violence of being still. They advise Lan to pay attention to her, so he does. He brings Moiraine dinner as an act of contrition, but when he arrives, the chamber is vacant because Moiraine rode away during the night. Without the one power, she is at a disadvantage when she runs into a fade, but she manages to kill it nevertheless, only to be stabbed by its companion. Just in time to save her, Lan battles off many fades without getting harmed. Varen, Adelias, and Tomas intervene with the one power as the fade closes in on Lan and Moiraine. But their near escape doesn't stop Lan from feeling offended that Moiraine walked off alone without him as support. Egwene, a novice aspiring to become an Aes Sedai, works as a servant by gathering rubbish and filthy dishes. She runs upon Nynaeve, who is dissatisfied with their new position in the kitchens. They and the other novices are given a lesson in channeling by the Aes Sedai Lana Masvani, who asks them to clean the tainted water Egwene has been carrying and forbids them from leaving until they drink it. Egwene makes the process more difficult for herself by diverting her attention, but Nynaeve is unyielding and does nothing. Despite her enormous talent, Nynaeve struggles with a block that prevents her from using the one power like other beginners. Nynaeve rejects Alana's advice and chooses to drink the contaminated water instead. Prior to setting off on their voyage, Perrin and the Augur Loyal send a letter to Egwene and Nynaeve. Perrin feels extremely alone because he thinks Rand is dead and Mat is still missing. But he and Loyal decide to journey with the Sheenaran group in search of the mythical horn of valor and patent fame. Uno Nomesta, a tracker who is confident in his skills, is a member of the squad. Elias, who has recognizable yellow eyes, is approached by the group. He leads them to the location of a Dark Friends attack. Perrin notices what happened and that a child survived as his eyes briefly take on an Elias-like gold light. They decide to bury the dead before continuing after following the carriage to a Sheenaran Dark Friend's corpse. The group's commander, Ingtar, calmly explains that he won't give way to fury when Perrin criticizes the concept of burying a traitor. Perrin acknowledges his anger toward Fane for what he did to the Two Rivers and his concern over what he would do if he runs into the peddler again. But Ingtar counsels caution and notes that Fane might have had a motivation for his deed. Together, Nynaeve and Egwene open Perrin's letter in the White Tower, in which he expresses sadness for their split, particularly on the anniversary of the day they left the Two Rivers. Later, Liandrin reads the same letter to Mat, a prisoner who hasn't been seen since Moiraine ordered the Red Edge after him when he walked away from the company at the Waygate in Season 1. As a ruse, Liandrin deliberately omits his mention in Perrin's letter during her reading. Although Matt insists he hasn't handled Shatter Logoth Dagger since then, Liandrin continues to view him as a potential threat. Nat works slowly to make his way out of his chamber by himself by loosening a brick in the wall. While lamenting the loss of his wife and friends, Perrin observes Beltane alone. Rand received his own lantern from Egwene and Nynaeve. Rand hangs his own lantern in a different, unidentified area. He is still alive and well, but no one else is aware of it just yet. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.